right. We didn't make our move to Montana on a whim. It was something that we had been planning of, but now put us ahead of schedule. And so we figured, you know what? There's nothing else going on that we need to change. My job was changing. Colleen's job was allowed for us to go remote, and so we decided to make that transition. Um, in the process of that, you know, I still had to finish out the last bit of the bird season at Bird's Landing, and so that would carry us until March. And you know, right about the time that I was on the very last day of the bird season, which was March 19th, that's when the lockdown began in California. So we had some key choices to make. Whether we were going to stay there and wait out the pandemic, or whether we were going to, you know, not wait for permission, but decide to go and make our lives happen how we wanted them to happen. And so we started doing that. We started working on our house in Sacramento, and we started doing all the work needed to get that ready for sale, and we did that.
And it was interesting how it worked out, because my parents had passed away 4 years prior, and I had their ashes on my bookcase, and knowing that they eventually wanted to be spread at sea, I was thinking about how in the heck I'm going to do that. And lo and behold, you know, it was shut down, so there wasn't any traffic on the road. So we were able to make the trip to Sonoma County to spread their ashes with no traffic, no BS. There was hardly anybody, you know, on the beach, so we had our privacy. And then we just came home, and the next day the governor shut down all the beaches and all the public areas. So, you know, it's just kind of serendipity, like how everything just kind of turned out.
So with the move here, you know, we had a lot of plans, right? We were very good at scheduling. We had a huge whiteboard up in our office in our house, and in that, you know, we had what were those tasks that we needed to have done in order to move. We had in that we were going to assimilate once we got here, and then we were going to start. The main reason for coming to Montana was to start building on the property that we have down further in the valley. But with that, right, we had to move during a pandemic, which was not an easy task for us to do, and to get here and unload and do all of that. But then with that, all of the things that we had figured on doing to help us integrate into our community here were canceled. Right, the Cherry Festival here in town was canceled. 4th of July was canceled. Every event where we had planned on integrating into our community was shut down and canceled. So to come here and try and blend in and integrate and get used to our community has been very tough, right? Montanans are great people and they're very nice, but it takes a while to ingratiate into the community. And without those events to be able to do that, it certainly has hampered our ability to get involved in the community. Although we have figured out and found ways to do that.
We had an issue where we moved here, and the day that we unloaded the truck, we realized that there was certain things that we were not going to be able to unload ourselves. I mean, we had crates of, you know, taxidermy, and they were just way too heavy. And how are we going to find somebody to help us unload, you know, when a lot of people weren't allowing their workers to come out and help people move, you know? And luckily we just went on Google, found the closest place was Missoula, and they were able to send out 2 young kids, college students, to help us unload the heavy stuff. So we got, you know, we were pretty lucked out there.
You know, and then you know, part of that was the creation and starting of Redemption Road. The YouTube channel, the website, and all of those things are part of a larger community project that for us was started in addiction recovery and co-occurring disorders with mental health, right? That started this journey, and much like a Star Wars movie, where we started it is in the middle 3 movies. So at some point we're gonna, you know, as we continue our story, we'll continue to go back a little farther in the past, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and actually tell the story from the beginning to where we are here. But you know, Colleen mentioned that there's a lot of acts of serendipity, and the one thing that we have learned to do is to, you know, move with the current of faith, and that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, a religious-based faith, but just in the faith that everything is going to work how it's supposed to work out for us, and not to try and force those situations. So when it comes to like the acts of serendipity, we moved we moved and sold our house during the pandemic, and we managed to hit windows that were closed the week before. All of a sudden opened up. It just happened to open up our move to be able to rent the truck, make the move, and do that. The weather, everything cooperated so we could make that move. We got here. The state licensing for our driver's licenses and the county for our license plates was closed due to the lockdown. Just happened to open up the week that we after we got here, so we were able to do that, and then they closed them down for another few months. So with that, we decided to continue our project with Redemption Road, and and we learned to do some things that we've never done before, right? That's the whole point of the channel. The whole point of our moving here is to, one, create a simpler way of living and enjoy that. But to do that, right, we've had to learn how to garden. We've had to learn how to forage, which is a kind of a hobby and pastime thing that we're really just starting to get into and learn about. Of course, the house repairs here that we've done some previous videos, and that we'll have the links down in the description for those, which are all in preparation for after the first of the year to start the building of our new house, and also in this year, hunting. That was a whole new avenue and learning curve for us.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting how just about a month ago, my company decided to lay off a bunch of employees, and I was one of them, unfortunately. But again, we're in a situation where it's okay. Sometimes things get mundane, and you're not sure if you can continue to do that job or not. Should I start looking for something else? Should I start doing my own business? I mean, I'm 51. What's the next chapter? And they say God does things for you that you can't do for yourself. And I think that's one of the things He did for me, was lay me off, because now I have, room to explore what I want to do, for the next few years. So, that was another perfect timing, I think, that happened. So,
Certainly. And the move itself, we had to make some pretty hard decisions and concessions, right? We left all of our family and all of our friends. Our entire lives up until this year was based in California, and that was a hard decision to leave friends and family. But the funny part is that since we've been in Montana, we've seen some of our close friends in the recovery world more now than we did when we lived in Sacramento and saw them every Thursday. Which is, it just goes to show that, when that wave of serendipity hits, you have to go with that. You have to, you just have to ride it. You can't try and outthink it. And they say hindsight's 20/20, but the only way you understand that is by looking back. And I think this year, brought some of the greatest opportunity for people to really look at what's important in their lives. Right? For us, it's living a simpler lifestyle, creating things that we've wanted to create. Right? My doing writing and creating the stuff for Redemption Road that we're doing, and being able to really be present when we're with family and friends, and not be distracted by the little things. That's part of this overall journey for us.
And get more of a sense of community. I think that's the reason why we chose the town and the state that we're in. Even though people are, they mind their own business, they're pretty quiet, they're very helpful people. They're always willing to help you and kind of chip in.
And especially, you talk about helping with that is when our dog decided to take off on the pheasant hunt and disappeared, right? That was a harrowing event for us, but we had a lot of people that, were out hunting, that were around, that, we drove by and talked to, ranchers and this and that. And to have somebody, that aware to hear him barking and let him in and call us right when they got him, it just shows you the kind of community that we moved to, and that's for us is what's really important.
Yeah.
And the same thing, not that our community in Sacramento was bad. It's just that's one of the downfalls of living in a big city, right? Is you have so many people that are so much on top of each other that being a tight-knit community is extremely tough.
Yeah.
You know, and also this year it's been tough. We've certainly lost friends. We had a friend that died here suddenly, that somebody that we didn't anticipate that from. And it's one of those things where that to me is where community comes in for us, right? And family is to be there for those support and those things. So now as we look back on 2020, it has been a dumpster fire of a year. That is very, very true. But the one thing, using hindsight and looking back is that while that hurricane was happening, by keeping our faith and our focus, we've managed to stay kind of right in the center of the eye of the hurricane as it's been going through this year. We've been very fortunate about that, and very grateful for those opportunities. So now going forward into 2021, we have some big plans. We'll get to do more on the project. Hopefully here after the first of the year, we'll get into the Journey's End project and what that home building process is going to be for us. We're certainly going to be doing a lot more of things related to self-reliance and to that part of our lives that we're looking at doing. The gardening, the home repairs, all those things. But we're also going to spend some more time, focused on recovery and on the pieces of our lives that brought us here to where we've managed to come to the level of calm and serenity that we've created. So with that, we hope that the closeout of 2020 is great for you and your families, and we look forward to what we bring together in 2021. Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.